there, everybody. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Rodney Harris. We are in for a winter storm event here across North Georgia and Metro Atlanta. So we want to hop on and do an extended update on Atlanta News First Plus to answer all of your questions about this upcoming weekend. I'm going to do the best that I can. We have quite a bit of information to share, so be sure and share this with your friends. If you're on Facebook, make sure they get that important information. And again, don't hesitate to ask any questions you'd like in that comment field. I'm going to try to get as many questions answered, if not all of them, as I can. I want to start with this map that you see on the right-hand side of your screen. So as has been the case all week long, this is our biggest concern. It's the threat of ice over the weekend. We think this is what we'll see the most of that'll be dangerous to you. So what you see in red, that is where the highest overall impact of this event will be. And I just want to start by saying the reason why is because for this event, the further north and east you drive, the colder it will be on the ground, which is what causes that ice to form. So if you are in northeast Georgia, we are pretty confident that this will be a high impact event for you with travel possibly impossible. That didn't make any sense. With travel maybe impossible and your power being at stake because of ice that forms on power lines. And then as you travel further south and west, we still believe it'll be a high impact event for at least parts of Metro Atlanta. The further south and west you go, the warmer it will be, so the lesser the threats will be. But even in that gray area southwest of Atlanta, you could still have impacts, rain, and some freezing rain still possible for you. But the high threat will start in Atlanta, and that threat will increase as you travel further northeast, like Gainesville, LJ, Athens now, and Helen, Blairsville, northeast Georgia, primarily because not only is that where your temperatures will be colder, but that's where the temperatures are going to be cold for a long period of time. What you're going to notice, everybody, that I'm doing is I'm also looking at our constant feed with the National Weather Service. We have a winter storm watch that's out, and at some point that watch may be adjusted. So you're going to see me looking at my phone just so I can stay in constant communication with the National Weather Service about that watch, and we'll talk more about that as well. So this is our threat for ice. We'll come back to the winter weather, but I do want to show you First Alert radar because we have rain out there right now. As we were driving to work this morning, we had showers out there. That's going to continue for the rest of the day, so we do want to caution everybody. If you are going to be out and about throughout North Georgia and Metro Atlanta, we do have this rain in your forecast all day long. There's no winter weather today. There will be no severe weather, no flooding, nothing like that, but there will be a nuisance rain. Here's my forecast model, and as you can see, that rain will continue kind of off and on throughout the day. I do think the coverage of the rain will start to go down later on tonight, but there will still be some showers out there. So, excuse me, again, today we do have rain out there, but no winter weather threat, but you will need the umbrella throughout the day if you're going to be driving for lunch or coming home from work. Now I want to talk about the Winter Storm Watch. So that Winter Storm Watch is what you see in blue. And I've said this a lot this morning and this afternoon, but what you see in blue, this is probably the best graphic we'll be able to show you today because this is the area where we're confident there will be a winter storm. If you are in that blue, we want you to prepare right away for this weekend. That's why we issue these watches. So that Winter Storm Watch is in effect essentially Saturday and Sunday. We want you to prepare if you were in this blue area. That includes Athens. By the way, Athens was added to this watch this morning. So East Georgia, Athens, you are new to the watch. It continues to include Canton and Rome and Gainesville and LJ and Helen and Blairsville and Blue Ridge, Cartersville and Bartow County, Dahlonega, Dawsonville. You are all in this Winter Storm Watch. I'll zoom in so you can see more of your cities and towns. But again, that blue area is the official Winter Storm Watch. And even though that doesn't include Atlanta, it's possible that that will include Atlanta later on today. We're still looking at our model data. As I told you before, the further north and east you go, the more likely you are to see that ice. So we really want to get our high-resolution data in before we continue to adjust the watch. But this is what we're looking at as of right now. You no longer need to wait if you're in that blue. You need to take your precautions right now. Prepare to be in the house over the upcoming weekend if you were in that blue. We have been talking to the National Weather Service. They say that whatever adjustment they decide to make to that watch will happen by 1 o'clock this afternoon. So that's when we'll know if and when that watch will change today. And remember, a watch means that, the weather is possible. We're convinced that's going to happen. As we get closer to the weekend, this will ultimately be upgraded to a warning, and the color will turn pink. When that becomes a warning, that's go time. That's when that precipitation is going to start fairly soon. So right now, the watch means to just prepare if you're in that blue. And again, by 1 o'clock today, any adjustments that's made to this watch will happen by then. And we'll, of course, give you that information right away on Atlanta News First. So here's the forecast modeling. I'm going to push mute for just a second. Excuse me. So here's our forecast modeling. The past several days, we've been showing you our long-range models. Our long-range models are good because it allows us to make your 7-day forecast. We can look far out into time with those long-range models. The thing that's not great about the long-range models is the resolution isn't as high, so we can't give you as much detail. Now our high-resolution models are starting to ping in on this event. So we have our at least one high-resolution model for Saturday. So Saturday's model will be more high-resolution. It'll have more fine detail to it. And then by Sunday, we'll switch back to the long range. So that's what you're about to see on the right-hand side of your screen. I want to point out, if you are in northwest Georgia, Dade County, Walker County, Chattooga County, Murray, Whitfield counties, you will see winter weather Saturday morning. Okay, so your threat will begin as early as Saturday morning, and that's why the watch starts so early. It's really for those of you in northwest Georgia. But in metro Atlanta and the rest of North Georgia, we're not really, thank you so much, Priya, we're not really seeing much Saturday morning. I think this is super important because if you're trying to make plans, Saturday morning you will be fine. You don't have to really worry about any wintry precipitation Saturday morning in metro Atlanta, and if you do, it just won't be that big of a deal. So Saturday morning you will be okay to drive around. I had a colleague asked me today if she'd get her nails done Saturday morning. Yes, you can do whatever you want Saturday morning. We'll be fine. The event won't start really until Saturday afternoon. You can see that with the forecast model. And that pink represents freezing rain and sleet. So that's the other thing that we have become more confident in. Earlier this week, we were talking about a wintry mix. Now we can kind of be more detailed on exactly what we think we'll see. And that is showing that pink sleet and freezing rain. So not as much snow here. Sleet and freezing rain. And as you can see, that does include a bit of metro Atlanta Saturday afternoon. And then going into Saturday night and early Sunday morning, that continues. It's looking more spotty in metro Atlanta, with the coverage being heavier in the mountains, which again explains why that winter storm watch is where it is, because of what our high-resolution model data is starting to show. Now we'll switch back over to the long range model for Sunday, and it's not as detailed, but it gives us a general idea of where everything will be on Sunday. So on Sunday, if you were in Atlanta northeastward, that freezing rain will continue to be possible. If you were southwest of Atlanta, notice how it's rained. The other thing we've been following over the past couple of days is what may be some warmer air moving in on Sunday, which what that will do is transition this to more rain by the second half of Sunday for metro Atlanta, with that freezing rain continuing in northeast Georgia. One thing I'll say, though, about this model data, we talk a lot about what's called the wedge here in North Georgia, and the wedge is basically what you see on your screen now. That pink is also where the air is going to be at its coldest. So what we'll have happening Saturday into Sunday is cold air that'll be coming down the mountains and into northeast Georgia. Whenever that wedge develops, it's typically stronger than the models indicate. It typically goes further southwest than the models indicate, and it typically lasts longer than the models indicate. So we actually believe that the model isn't picking up on the wedge as much as it should. So even in Atlanta throughout the day on Sunday, we're still convinced that freezing rain will be a threat. So that's something else, a little nugget I want to throw in there. That's what we're able to do when we're on Atlanta News First Plus, is really give you the behind-the-scenes forecasting. And as you can see, that pink is definitely continuing northeast of Atlanta, which is where that freezing rain and sleet would continue. And then by Monday morning at 7 a.m., it's dry. So there will be no more precipitation as of Monday morning. But here's the thing about Monday morning. Whatever falls on Sunday will definitely freeze Sunday night into Monday morning. So the reason why Monday is a first alert isn't because we're expecting any additional precipitation. It's because whatever rain is out there, freezing rain is out there, sleet is out there on Sunday, it's not going to melt Monday morning. So that's why Monday is a first alert, not for any precipitation, but for that ice that will stay on the ground Monday. And honestly, we're looking at temperatures Monday. A lot of you from Atlanta northward may not get above freezing, which may put Tuesday into play for this stuff being on the road. So we're going to continue to fine-tune that forecast model for you. And as we continue to get more data, we'll fine-tune exactly where things are going to be. But Saturday, we're getting a pretty good idea of what's happening. And that Sunday, we'll be able to tell you more about as we continue into the day-to-day. We're still looking at Saturday into Sunday as this being the main event. If you're in Metro Atlanta, here's a rough sketch of what you can expect on Saturday. Again, Saturday morning, it's mostly dry. That doesn't mean you won't see a spotty shower or even some spotty freezing rain, but mostly dry throughout the morning on Saturday. And it won't be until the afternoon where that freezing rain will develop and continue throughout Saturday night. So that is what we're looking at for Saturday. And again, I'm giving you Saturday's timeline because we've gotten a little bit more high resolution data in. When we get that high resolution data in on Sunday, we'll be able to kind of break it apart for you there as well. So if you were out there right now in Metro Atlanta and you're trying to decide, when should I drive? When should I not drive? Saturday morning, you'll be fine. By Saturday evening, Saturday night, we recommend you staying home if you're in Metro Atlanta, especially north of I-20. Sunday, we recommend you stay home. Monday, we recommend you stay home. This is Atlanta and northward. South of I-20, your forecast is going to be different. Atlanta northward, this is what we recommend for those of you, particularly in that winter storm watch. Again, Saturday morning, fine, but by Saturday evening, Saturday night, we recommend you staying home through at least Monday based on the data that we're seeing right now. So what I want to do here is talk about the process on Saturday, because you're hearing a lot of freezing rain, and I want to let you know what that means for you. What is freezing rain? Why are we concerned about freezing rain? So I'm going to do a little science breakdown for you here. That's Atlanta. More often than not, when we have moisture in the air, it's above freezing. So when it's above freezing, that moisture is all rain. And when we're making your forecast and we're trying to talk about the different types of winter weather, we basically are looking at the temperature in the entire column of the atmosphere. So we look at the temperature up and down in the atmosphere to determine what type of weather we're going to actually see, and most of the time it's above freezing in the entire column, so that's usually all rain for us in Atlanta and North Georgia. Now, what's going to happen on Saturday is as the day progresses, we're going to have freezing temperatures that will be moving in at the ground level. So this is why this is important. If it's snowing outside, it's easy for you to see that snow. But what's going to happen Saturday is it's going to rain, right? And when you're looking at it, it's going to be rain. But once that cold air starts to move in at the surface that's below freezing, that rain will freeze on contact with your car, the ground, whatever's on the ground that's freezing, the precipitation, the rain's going to freeze on that. So that's why we're concerned about Saturday, especially going into Saturday evening, because again, snow is at least easy to see, but this is going to look like rain to you throughout the day on Saturday. So you may not think it's a big deal, but that rain's going to freeze once that cold air moves in at the surface. That's what freezing rain is, and that's what eventually leads to ice, which is what we're expecting as we head towards Saturday night. So that's going to be the setup for your forecast Saturday afternoon going into Saturday evening. I talk about how it's going to be colder as you travel further north and east of Atlanta. So this is our model data that's basically indicating that. This gives us the chance that you're going to see at least a quarter inch of ice. A quarter inch of ice is enough to make travel impossible, and it's also enough to bring down power lines, which could impact your power. Notice how those percentages are really high in Northeast Georgia, like 90% plus in Canton and Gainesville, which essentially means it's going to happen. And then when you come down toward Atlanta, it's down to 50%. So above 50% means it's likely. And then as you go further south and west of Atlanta, that percentage drops to the 20% range. I want to point that out because even though our focus is starting to really center on Atlanta northeastward, if you're southwest of Atlanta, that 20% chance, that 12% chance isn't zero. Okay, so it's not impossible that you have a higher impact. It's just low. So that pink goes all the way down to like Coweta County, Carroll County, Fayette County, Clayton County, Butts County, Putnam, Jasper County. So that pink means that you could still see some activity. We just believe the higher risk, that 50% and higher, is from Atlanta northeastward. That's a quarter inch of ice, which is enough to have an impact on you. Now let's look at a half an inch of ice, which could be more catastrophic. And those numbers increase as you definitely head into Northeast Georgia. That's why we think Northeast Georgia is really our trouble spot here. Atlanta, the chance of you seeing half an inch of ice is lower now, but those numbers stay pretty high in Northeast Georgia from Canton to Gainesville to Blairsville. So as you see these impact maps from us over the next several days, that's why you're seeing those higher impacts in Northeast Georgia, because the chance of ice being higher layer, like a thicker layer of ice, will increase as you travel further north and east. So there is the winter storm watch. I'm going to check back with the National Weather Service. We're 15 minutes in now just to see if there's any new information from them. Again, this winter storm watch does not include Atlanta, but it does include Rome, Cartersville, Gainesville, Canton, now including Athens, and that's Saturday into Sunday. If there are any changes to the winter storm watch, it would happen by 1 o'clock today according to the National Weather Service. I'm going to leave this on the screen and check out some of your questions for those of you who would like to ask questions. First of all, don't forget to share this if you're on Facebook, whether you're on the Atlanta News First page or whether you're on my Facebook page. Make sure and share this important information with everybody. And don't hesitate to ask your questions. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. And just so you don't see the top of my head, I'm going to put the map up while I look at your questions. But Saturday into Sunday will be this winter weather event. Jackie Myers, thank you for joining us on Facebook this morning. We appreciate you. Maria, does not look like we have a ton of questions, unless my, these are from earlier, unless my screen is stuck. I have Jackie Myers saying thank you, and you're welcome, Jackie. This is what we do, is try to keep you up to date as best we can on this information. Again, Saturday into Sunday will be the event, and it looks like it really peaks Saturday night into Sunday, so I do think that that's important to stress if you are going to be out and about on Saturday. Saturday morning is going to be fine with that coverage increasing throughout the afternoon and going into the evening. So Maria just handed me a couple of questions from you. Tuesday or Wednesday later. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Right now, we have our highest impact days that will be on Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday. We know that for sure. The reason why Tuesday and Wednesday may be a concern to whomever's asking this question is because we know for sure that Monday it's going to stay basically at freezing, especially north and east of Atlanta. And it's going to stay freezing through Tuesday as well. So whatever falls over the weekend, it's going to be tough for it to thaw out Monday and Tuesday. So Monday and Tuesday, Monday for sure will be a high impact day. Tuesday may also be a high impact day just because the temperatures are not going to warm to above freezing. The later we get into the week, that's more dynamic. But for sure Monday, and it does look like Tuesday will likely be somewhat of an impact day just because the temperatures won't get above freezing. So again, anything that falls over the weekend will likely stay on the ground Monday and possibly into Tuesday. Overdoing the warm air, says Nicholas. Nicholas says, I feel like the GFS is overdoing the warm air. And Nicholas, you may be right. That's what I meant when I was referring to the wedge. We get the wedge in North Georgia all the time in the fall and the winter. And one thing and I'm going to say this again, the GFS and the European are great models. There are long-range models. So the reason why they're helpful to us is because they go out far enough for us to be able to make your 7-day forecast. Where they don't do a great job of is the high resolution, especially when you're far out in advance. And so they don't do as good a job at picking up on that wedge. We know from experience, I've been here 17 years, Nicholas. Your chief meteorologist, Jennifer Valdez, has been here 18 years. We've seen a lot of these wedges, and you're right. They don't typically handle the wedges well. That's why we believe that it's probably going to be colder, and that cold air is maybe is further southwest than Atlanta. We got to wait for our high-resolution data to come in, but we know it'll likely be colder, and that cold air will likely stay in place longer because that's what typically happens in these wedge events. But again, we're going to get a better picture of that wedge with our high-resolution data, which is already starting to come in, particularly for Saturday. So we got a question here. So the chance of snow and ice is out of the picture, basically. Absolutely not. It depends on what area you're talking about. But this question, so the chance of snow and ice is out of the picture. Absolutely not. The chance of snow is low. It looks like primarily a freezing rain, sleet, and ice event. There may still be some snow, especially in northwest Georgia initially on Saturday morning. And as the system is moving out, that'll happen Sunday night going into Monday. There may also be a little burst of snow. But if I had to give you the risk in order of importance, ice and freezing rain is definitely number one. Rain by itself is number two, south of Atlanta. And then snow would be number three, which may be confined to like far northwest and far northeast Georgia. Ice is our biggest concern, and that will definitely happen from Atlanta northeastward. We'll go winter storm watch about tonight. Do you think we will go into the winter storm watch tonight? So the winter storm watch, and that's what you see on your screen right now, currently from Floyd County to Bartow County to Cherokee County to Forsyth County to Hall County, all the way down now to Jackson and Clark counties and northward. Doesn't include Atlanta yet. We are not 100% sure where this watch is going to expand, but it will happen by 1 o'clock. We do believe Atlanta will eventually be in the watch. It's not yet, but by 1 o'clock, that's when that watch will be reconfigured, or before 1. And I'll go ahead and look at my National Weather Service stream just to see if they're saying anything while you ask that question. But yeah, the watch may change. It probably will. And if that does happen, it should happen by 1 o'clock today. Okay, is Athens, Georgia in danger because I have security at 7 p.m. until 11 p.m. for the Rock Lobster Saturday night. I would not recommend being out in Athens Saturday night. So that's a pretty straightforward answer there. Again, I would not recommend being out Saturday night in Athens, Clark County. You are not under the winter storm watch yesterday, but you are under a winter storm watch in Athens. So whatever's going on out there, I would recommend being out Saturday night, as you'll be right in that winter storm watch. Do you think that the American model is the more likely scenario? So honestly, I'm going to ask that one more time. Do you think that the American model is more likely? Both models are actually sort of showing the same thing, which is freezing rain and ice starting Saturday afternoon, continuing through Saturday night, and then continuing through Sunday. They're also both starting to show a bit more rain, especially southwest of Atlanta. So the overall trends are actually about the same for both of the models. There's always going to be small differences in the detail, but I'll actually say the GFS and the European are both about the same in the overall picture. The one question that we're looking at on Sunday in particular is how much warm air moves in, how much rain moves in. But I want to point out, even if warm air moves in and we get more rain Sunday, that would still freeze Sunday night. So I know we're talking a lot about that and a lot about the potential for more rain Sunday, particularly Sunday. That doesn't matter for your impacts, because even if it's rain, that's going to freeze again. So that will produce that threat or keep that threat of ice Monday morning. So we'll keep talking about that forecast-wise, but your impact will be the same regardless of whether it's rain or freezing rain, because the temperatures are definitely going to drop to below freezing Sunday night going into Monday. So anything that's on the ground Monday morning would be frozen. So in that regard, just know that I don't think your impacts are going to change at all on Sunday, regardless of the precipitation type, just because we know that it's going to get very cold Sunday night going into Monday morning. Let's see here. What are the chances that this low pressure doesn't happen or it doesn't push the warm air up? So I just sort of answered that. It does look like as the low is moving in, it's going to bring in potentially some warmer air on Sunday. The wedge may win out and it may stay colder, but even if that happens, I want to stress that your impacts are going to stay the same. So what will happen here is if we do get that warm nose of air that moves in, it would change everything over to rain Sunday at some point, probably the second half of Sunday, but then it just refreeze again Sunday night. So that's why I don't think that's as significant a deal, even though it is something we're talking about forecast-wise. And it is important when it comes to the amounts. If we do get more rain Sunday versus freezing rain, that will impact your ice amount. So that is important in that regard. But again, everything's going to freeze again Sunday night anyway, so your impacts won't really change that much. Thank you for that. These are really good questions, by the way, so thank you for them. Keep them coming. I don't know, Maria, why I can't see them, but Maria is working very hard. She's printing out your questions so I can see them. So thank you, Maria, for that. Let's see here. Is sleet possible in DeKalb County? Yes, sleet is possible in DeKalb County. That would be Saturday afternoon through Sunday night, maybe early Monday morning. Sleet is possible in DeKalb County in addition to freezing rain. Is there a chance for snow flurries next weekend? It's hinting at that a little bit. So yeah, we're talking about this weekend while we're under our winter storm watch. First alert meteorologist Ella Dorsey went on TV this morning and told everybody that there's another chance of snow the weekend after next, like the last weekend of January. So, yes, our models are showing another system moving in that may produce additional winter weather. It's way too soon to know. That's beyond even your 7-day forecast, so it's way too soon. We're still trying to figure out this system, much less the system the weekend after next. But to answer your question technically, yes, as of today, both the GFS and the European are showing another bout of winter weather potentially for the weekend after next. But honestly, we're not going to bring that up a lot because that's so far in advance and we haven't even resolved this system yet. So we got to get past this system, see what happens with this system, and then we'll get a better idea of what's going to happen the weekend after next. But yes, our models are showing that, so that's possible, but that's just way too far down the line for our confidence to be really high on that. Bummer, we were looking forward to the snow. So yeah, it really is going to be more of an ice freezing rain event. We're not going to really see any snow in Metro Atlanta, and if there is snow, it's going to be more for far north Georgia. You know, and we hinted at that this week, and I know everybody wants to see snow, it's a prettier thing to see. But this is more of a dangerous event than it would be a pretty event. So, yeah, we don't like the freezing rain. We don't like the sleet or the ice, but that really would be our primary. We're pretty confident that that's what we'd see in Metro Atlanta, and maybe snow in far north Georgia. But this will primarily be a sleet, freezing rain, and rain event. Let's see here. La 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 la. Is the mic working, Maria? Somebody said the mic isn't working. Planning on staying at work. I think it's working now because I can see it here. Planning on. I think I'm reading these backwards. So that may have been earlier, Maria. Planning on staying at work this weekend. Just need to know what day to go in, Friday night or Saturday before noon. So. In Brazelton, Georgia. Hey, out there in Brazelton, Jackson County. If you leave and do anything Saturday morning and you're going to stay put, you'll be fine. Just do it Saturday morning, maybe into Saturday afternoon, you'd be fine too. We're really just more concerned about like Saturday evening going into Saturday night. That's when, it'll be go time. So if you're in Brazelton and wherever you're going in Brazelton, if you're going to stay put, I would recommend doing that Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. You have any more questions for me? I'm going to look and see if there's anything on Facebook Live. Will the watch area be expanded, says Sarah. It's possible. We can't say for sure. Literally, as I'm giving you this update, our model data is coming in. What I'm going to do at 11:30 is step aside, go back there with Ella. We're going to continue to look at the model data. And if there is a change to the watch, we're told by the National Weather Service that would happen by 1 o'clock. So we're getting the model data that we need literally as we speak. So as soon as I'm done with this update, we'll dive into that. We're still looking at the higher probabilities, Sarah, as you go further north and east of Atlanta, at least of the really impactful ice. And they already have that covered in the watch area right now. If there are any changes to that watch, we will obviously let you know immediately here in the First Alert Weather app, all of our platforms. But whatever change is made would happen by 1 o'clock. Thank you for that question, Sarah. All right, Maria, can I have 5 more minutes? Do you need this out? Okay, because we got a few more questions. I want to try to answer as many of your questions as I can. Maria's just ready to go here to the right. We do have some more questions coming in on Facebook. I just want to make sure I get all of your questions answered. Thank you guys so much for joining and tuning in. Remember to share this with your friends. This is important information. We're going to be doing this throughout the rest of the week, and that's why we do it, is to answer your questions. So I want to make sure I get all of those answered. And I also want to make sure you don't see the top of my head. So I'm going to get you this winter storm watch and put that back up so everybody knows if you're in blue, take precautions immediately for this weekend event. And while you look at that watch, I'll continue to answer your questions. Okay, Aaron Romero is asking about Dallas, Georgia, and Paulding County. You are not under the winter storm watch at this point, but you will definitely see rain over the weekend, and you will likely see freezing rain at some point. Your risk is lower at this point in Paulding County, but that could change, so stay weather ready. Jennifer White is asking about Saturday night in Cobb County. Jennifer, I do believe you will see freezing rain Saturday night in Cobb County, so stay weather ready. Clarksville, same thing. If you're in Clarksville, Georgia, thank you for watching from Clarksville. Everybody's going to see the threat for rain, but as you go further northeast, it's going to get worse. So in Clarksville, you're going to be north and east of Atlanta Saturday night, so you're definitely going to see freezing rain, and you may see enough ice to where it's a pretty big deal for you. So if you're in Clarksville there, Stacy, I would recommend staying at home Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday. We're pretty convinced that your temperatures will be below freezing for a long period of time. Okay, Tat Cunningham. Could Henry County be added to the watch Saturday? So at this point, excuse me, Henry County is a bit far south, so I can't tell you whether or not Henry County is going to be added. I do believe Henry County will definitely see rain. It's possible that Henry County will also see freezing rain. The temperatures are colder as you travel further north. So if you're in Henry County, as of right now, plan on rain and some freezing rain and maybe even some sleet mixing in. Your threat isn't as high in Henry County as it is further north. That's why you're not in that watch. I can't tell you who's going to be added to that watch at this point, but I can say as of right now, you're not in that watch in Henry County. You will definitely see rain, though, and maybe even some freezing rain and sleet. Your impact in Henry County at this point doesn't look as high, though, as it does for those of you further north and east. Allison is asking about Butts County. Same thing for you. Butts County, you're going to get some rain over the weekend. And you might get some freezing rain or some sleet, but your impact won't be as high. We're not forecasting your temperatures to be quite as bad, but definitely seeing rain, maybe some freezing rain mixed in. Butts County, you are not under that watch. I don't think you'll be under that watch at least anytime soon. Let's see here. Deborah, thank you for joining. Saturday afternoon in Dawsonville. So, Deborah, Saturday afternoon in Dawsonville, what's going to happen for you is you're going to see the rain and the freezing rain start to develop Saturday afternoon. And what's going to happen is it's going to start to increase in coverage more as we head towards Saturday evening. So, for you in Dawsonville, it'll be starting Saturday afternoon and getting worse by Saturday night. So, you can do whatever you want Saturday morning. The event will be starting Saturday afternoon, getting worse Saturday night for you in Dawsonville. So thank you so much for that question. That was coming from Deborah. We appreciate that. Okay, Lily, can you predict anything about school closures from Monday into Tuesday in Northeast Georgia? I cannot officially tell you about your schools. We will tell you about the weather. But I will say that we are recommending you stay home, especially if you're going to be there in Northeast Georgia, which is what you're saying. Northeast Georgia, Saturday night, Sunday, and Monday at least, we do believe that you should stay at home, possibly into Tuesday as well. In terms of your schools, that's obviously something you're going to have to wait for from your officials. But if I were betting man, I'd say you almost certainly won't be dealing with schools or businesses on Monday for sure, possibly into Tuesday. But that official information will come from your school, as Maria tells me to wrap it up. Wanda, what about Augusta? How are we going to do with the storm? You're going to get some rain in Augusta. Donna says, what about Beaufort, Georgia? Beaufort, Georgia will get some rain and freezing rain. If you are in Beaufort, I do believe that freezing rain will increase for you and potentially some ice Saturday night into Sunday. Jasper, same for you. If you're in Jasper, you are under a winter storm watch Saturday night into Sunday. Tell me what we're facing in Macon. Just rain in Macon. Thank you for that, Belvin. Linda says, Tucker, east of Atlanta. Rain, freezing rain is still possible for you Saturday night going into Sunday. And we haven't heard about snow in the metro area, says Hillary. So for metro Atlanta, Hillary, it's really just rain, freezing rain, and some sleet. I'm not forecasting snow for metro Atlanta. That includes Fayetteville. Fayetteville, mostly rain, maybe some freezing rain mixing in by Saturday night. LaGrange, probably just rain for you in LaGrange. McDonough, rain, maybe some freezing rain with the lower impact. I'm going fast here now. Covington, Jody, rain, maybe some freezing rain. The impact is further north. Douglasville, rain, freezing rain, the impact for the north. So that blue that you see, that's the zone we're watching for right now. We're going to push out immediately when we get new information on this watch. If it happens, it should happen by 1 o'clock today. Everybody stay safe this weekend. Remember, it's raining today. No winter weather today, but it'll definitely rain all day. So I'm going to leave you with first alert radar, I think, so I can show you where the rain is right now. No winter weather, no severe weather, but the rain will impact you today, so have that umbrella throughout the day. It looks like the rain coverage will start to go down. There's first alert radar as we head toward this evening, and we will keep you up to date with more updates, more answering your questions, more extended coverage throughout the course of the day. Everybody stay safe. Happy Tuesday.